is Sonaí Pérez, and I'm here with Sam Donaldson here at UTEP. And we're going to do a little interview with you, Sam Donaldson. Thank you for coming.
I'm delighted to be here at UTEP. Of course, when I went to school here, it was called Texas Western.
Right, Texas Western.
But I think it's moved up in the world.
Great, great. Well, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite medium and why? Why?
Truth is, I guess, aside from speaking, as we're doing here, it's radio. Although I've made a good living for a good number of years being on television primarily, but radio is the most intimate form of mass communication there is. Because again, you hear a voice or the sound, but the pictures are in your mind. And you can just make it as beautiful or as ugly as you want.
And what do you think of the students' effort in Borderzine.com here on campus?
I think it's great. I mean, these kinds of programs and this kind of effort just expands everybody's ability to understand the world. I mean, here on the border, I think people have had this understanding more than in the interior of the United States for a long time because of the bilingual nature of the border, of the fact we live next to Mexico and they live next to the United States. But I think this is a great thing.
And what do you think is the future of journalism?
It's the same as the past, I think. Bring people information that they can use, factual information. Now, journalism is a broad term, and it covers a lot of sins as well as good things, I think. But basically, journalists try to find out the facts of a subject, a person, the world, things that have happened, and bring the people who weren't there and don't know firsthand. But the important thing is the journalist tries to make certain that what he or she brings is factual. Now, you can't always be 100% right. The next day you may have to correct what you thought were the facts and say, oh, that turned out not to be factual at all, but you have to try. And I think that separates people from those who say they're journalists, but don't care about that, from those who are journalists because they do.
And do you still read your hometown newspaper, the Old Paso Times?
I don't, because it's not delivered to my front door, and I'm sure it must have a website. But when I get up in the morning early and have a cup of coffee and start plowing through the newspapers, either at my front door or on the web before I go to work, I don't get quite down to the El Paso Times.
I see. I have one last question. What do you think is lacking in today's newsroom?
I don't know that anything is. I may not be the right person to ask. Today's newsroom is so different from yesterday's, but tomorrow's is going to be so much more different. People often ask me, well, you think the young people are doing it right? I said, of course. Of course. They're doing it differently in many respects. But remember when we talked about sort of the principles, what you're trying to do? I'm not sure that anything is lacking in the sense that, your generation has lost its way. My generation was so much better. I don't believe that for a moment. I think that young journalists that I see in newsrooms across the country when I visit, or when I watch television in a strange city or pick up a newspaper, it's not the Washington newspapers, I find good quality there.